Good morning, boys and girls. It's Saturday morning. What a beautiful day. Boy, it's just really been raining here in Northwest Ohio. And everything is greening up. And I'm so glad to see you this morning. May God bless you. Today we'll be reading from Pastor Mary's favorite childhood book. It's called Marian's Favorite Bible Stories by Marian Schoolland. There's the picture. You see it's a little ripped up because it is old after all. Today, we'll be thinking about two different Bible stories. And if you have questions about these Bible stories, I want you to ask your parents about them. And ask your parents the questions that are on your heart that come out of these Bible stories. It's good to talk to your parents about things that are important to you and things you think about, things that are on your mind. In the Bible, it makes us think, okay? So good to see you all this morning on Saturday. Hope you had a good week. Today's story, there'll be two of them, so I should say stories in plural. One is about Ruth. There's a woman named Ruth in the Bible, and it's called Ruth Chooses for God. And then the next chapter is, they're very short chapters, they're just 2 pages. Since it's a child's book, it doesn't say the whole thing. It just kind of gives the gist of the story, you know. So the next chapter is called Samson, the Strong Man. And I'll tell you where these come from. The first one comes from the book of Ruth. Where do you think the book of Ruth might be found? Would that be in the Old Testament or the New Testament? Now think about it. Think about it. Now, if you don't know, I want you to go to your Bible table of contents and look it up and see if you can find the answer. If you can find the answer, I want you to post it on the messages, okay? And Edith really wants your participation as she reads, okay? God bless you. Ruth chooses for God. Here we go, boys and girls. Are you ready? Once upon a time, there was a famine in the land of Israel. Do you know what a famine is? Do you know what a famine is? A famine is when something happens, like dry weather or something like that, where there's no water and the crops can't grow, like all of the wheat fields and all those rice paddies, all that stuff. It doesn't grow, so there's nothing available for food. It's a very serious business when you depend on your crops to give you food. That means the cattle can't drink. That means they can't eat. That means the people can't drink. That means the people can't eat. That means all those things. You know, do you see the importance of when there is a famine, what can take place? Also, disease happens. It's just a horrible time. So famine, remember that word. Once upon a time, there was a famine in the land of Israel. The rain did not fall. The grain did not grow. After a while, there was not food enough. Then a certain man named Elimelech, and I know you haven't heard that name too much, so I'll ask you to say it after me. Elimelech. He moved away to another country, and he took his wife Naomi, and he took their 2 boys with him. Well, the 2 boys grew up in a very strange country. They married 2 good girls, Ruth and Orpah. Can you say those names with me, Ruth and Orpah? But after a while, Elimelech died, and that was sad. And the 2 boys died too. So Naomi, Elimelech's wife, was alone with Ruth and Orpah. Those were her daughter-in-laws. Naomi was sad and lonely. She wanted to go back to her own country. Ruth and Orpah walked along with Naomi, but after a while, Naomi said, "Daughter-in-laws, you must go back to your own country. You must not come with me all the way." So Orpah, she kissed Naomi. "I will go where you go." Oh, sorry about that. I missed something. So Orpah kissed Naomi. She said goodbye, and she went back to her country. But Ruth did not want to go back. Ruth said to Naomi, "I will go where you go. I will live where you live. Your people shall be my people. Your God will be my God." So Ruth chose for God. She chose to believe in God. She chose for God. And she went with Naomi to live with God's people. When harvest time came, Ruth went out to pick barley in the fields. But they dropped some of it. Oh, sorry, that train distracted me. Ruth went back out to pick up barley in the field. The reapers cut the barley and they tied it into bundles. They're like the farmer people, and they cut it, and they have to cut it a certain way because they didn't have machines to do it back then. And they worked together, they bundled it. They were called reapers. But they dropped some of the barley on the ground. And the poor people could pick up all that the reapers dropped. They could pick it all up, whatever was dropped on the ground. So Ruth followed the reapers all day. She took the barley home to Naomi that she picked up. Remember, they were poor. The barley field belonged to a rich man named Boaz. Can you say Boaz? Boaz saw Ruth picking up barley, and he talked with her. Well, wasn't that nice? We are supposed to be nice to each other. Boaz saw Ruth picking up the barley, and he talked with her, and he said to her, "I have heard that you are good to Naomi. The Lord will bless you, Ruth, because you are good to her." He told her to come every day, and he told the reapers to drop a little more barley when Ruth walked by. So Ruth went to the fields of Boaz every day till the harvest was past. After that, the rich Boaz married Ruth, and God sent them a baby boy. This baby grew up, and you know who he became? This is just the way things are in God's eyes, in God's plan. That little baby grew up and became the grandfather of King David. That was Ruth's little baby boy. So God did bless Ruth because she chose to serve God and because she was good to Naomi, her mother-in-law. That was a great story. I love it. Here comes the next one. Samson, the strong man. This is found in the book of Judges. Judges. Do you know where the book of Judges is located in the Bible? It's okay to look in the table of contents in your Bible and find the book of Judges. Is it in the Old Testament or the New Testament? That's for you to find out. I'm not going to tell you everything. You got to kind of explore and learn on your own, okay? All right, this book, Judges, this is found in the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th chapter. But this is the condensed version. Condensed means short. Shortened version. Because I'm reading from the child's book called Marian's favorite Bible stories. This was Pastor Mary's Bible when she was a little girl. Look at that. It's all falling apart because it is old, you know. Here we go, boys and girls. Samson, the strong man. Look at that. He's wrestling a lion. Wow. Once again, the Israelites forgot God. Then God sent the Philistines to bother them, and the people prayed to God for help. And you know God heard their prayers. One day God sent an angel to a woman of Israel. The angel said, "You're going to have a baby, and this baby will grow up and fight against the Philistines. But he must not drink wine, and he must never have his hair cut." Samson was very strong. One day he met a lion on the path. He caught the lion by its mouth, and he killed it. When the Philistines came, he chased them away, and they were very afraid of Samson. One day the Philistines did catch Samson. They tied him with strong ropes, but Samson, he just laughed. He just broke those ropes and he walked away. Boom! He broke them and walked away. Samson had a good friend whose name was Delilah. Can you say Delilah? That's a woman's name. Samson had a good friend whose name was Delilah, and she was not a good woman. Sometimes we pick friends and they're not very good people. We got to really pay attention to the friends that we pick, boys and girls. Delilah was not a good friend, but Samson often went to visit her anyway. One day the Philistines came to see Delilah, and they said to her, "You must find out what makes Samson so strong, and if you help us catch him, we're going to give you some money." Oh, that's all she needed. So Delilah asked Samson what it was that made him so strong. And Samson didn't want to tell, but Delilah begged him, "Oh, please, Samson, tell me. I'm your good friend." At last, Samson told her how the angel had come to his mother. He told her that he had always obeyed God. He never drank wine, and his hair had never been cut. So then Delilah, she sang Samson to sleep, took a little nap, and while he was napping, she cut off his long hair. The Philistines were hiding nearby. Delilah woke Samson up and said, "Samson, the Philistines are coming." Samson jumped up. He thought he was as strong as before. He thought he could chase the Philistines away, but he was weak. He could not chase the Philistines. The Spirit of God had made him strong, but the Spirit of God left him because he let Delilah cut his hair. Well, he didn't know it. He was sleeping, but he still let it happen. The Philistines took Samson to prison. They put his eyes out. Oh, that's a horrible part of the story. And then they made him work so hard in the prison. After a while, Samson's hair grew long again, and then one day the Philistines had a great feast. They thought they were all in one big temple, and they brought Samson so everybody could make fun of him. And then Samson prayed to God, and he asked God to make him strong just one more time. "Please, God, make me strong one more time." God heard Samson's prayer. Samson put his arms around the pillars of the temple. You know what pillars are? Those big things that hold up buildings. You know, you see them sometimes. On the roof above his head, the Philistines were laughing and talking. Samson pulled really hard. He pulled with all his might, and the pillars cracked in the building, and they broke in the temple. It came crumbling down, and it fell on many Philistines and actually killed them, which is a horrible part of the story, but that's the way the story goes. But Samson too was killed. But he freed the Israelites from the Philistines, and those Philistines didn't bother him anymore. Well, these are two stories out of the Bible that have been around for a long time. I want you to think about those stories. Think about the way God makes you strong, and the ways that sometimes you may make good friends and sometimes you make some bad friends. And then how do you follow God and help other people? Are you like Ruth? Are you like Ruth, who wanted to help her mother and go wherever she went, her mother-in-law, and love her mother and help her? Well, boys and girls, God bless you. I know that your school is done for the year. Those Zoom classes are done. I'm praying for you. We're going to have a vacation Bible school on Zoom this summer, and I hope you listen up and take advantage of that, because we're going to post when those Zoom vacation Bible school classes are going to be. And it's not going to just be a class. It's going to be artwork and music and all kinds of stuff in the class time. Alexa St. Julian is helping with that program, and I really hope you can join Vacation Bible School this summer. More about that later, boys and girls. For now, you have a great rest of the day. Just relax, enjoy yourself, talk kindly to people, and love your parents. God bless you. I love you.